Coming to you live here in Phoenix, Arizona. Welcome in for another edition of Cronkite Sports Live. He's Ethan Ryder. I'm Matt Venezia. We have some more spring sports to go over as we're getting near the end of the semester. And without further ado, we're going to get right into baseball as the Sun Devils had a very big contest within the Pac-12. It's a non-conference matchup in a midweek Tuesday afternoon contest between the University of Arizona and the Sun Devils. Big rivalry contest with Boyd Vanderkoy on the hill. But in the first inning, things got going for the Wildcats. Tanner Otremba with a two-run bomb to right field. Kai Murphy could not keep that one in play. But Ryan Campos, the freshman standout catcher, with an RBI single, bringing in Joe Lampe. The Sun Devils trailing now 2-1 after one. But the offense for the Wildcats did not stop there. Tony Ballard, he launches one. That's his second of the year, as Nate Baez just looking and looking over his head. The Wildcats' long balls going early there at Muni, and that resulted in Coach Bloomquist pulling the plug on Boyd Vanderkoy, ending his day an inning and a third, 3 hits and 3 runs. So it's going to be a bullpen contest moving forward. The Sun Devils get some help, though, from the freshman Cam McGee, launching a game-tying 2-run home run. We're all tied at 3 heading on to the 4th inning. In relief of Vanderkoy, Jacob Walker, though, gives up a bomb here to Chase Davis. His solo shot, his 10th of the year, makes it 4-3 for the Wildcats. But now here we look again. This is Kai Murphy, a 3-run bomb to give ASU the lead. And in the 9th inning, Blake Pivaroff comes in to close it out with 2 scoreless innings. On to Connor Davis from McGee. The Sun Devils upset number 11 Arizona. And to hear more on that, here is Coach Bloomquist.
I think it was emotional high. I can see what people say when they talk about it's a different type of high, an emotional high. That was a lot of fun for me personally. Just seeing the way the guys reacted to getting down early and continue battling back against a pretty dang good team. These guys, it's I said it last on Sunday, but it's great to see these guys feel good about themselves and have something good happen to them and beat a pretty good team. So, we're going to enjoy this one tonight, and then we'll get back to work and start looking forward to Stanford tomorrow.
Bloomquist talked a little bit there about just kind of fighting and grinding, and that's something that this team has really been doing so far under Bloomquist, fighting until that last out in every single game. That's been the mentality he's tried to instill in this program in his first year behind the bench for the Sun Devils, and this team is 14-16. Their Pac-12 record is 5-4. They're fighting in games that matter for where they're going to be entering the Pac-12 tournament. They're not giving up, the most notable being that Cal series. 5th inning, down 9-2, and the Sun Devils came back for 14 unanswered. This team doesn't give up, and we're seeing it here before this big series against Stanford. Yeah, and a huge comeback against Cal there. Just beat the number 10 Arizona Wildcats, now going over, as you said, to the Sunken Diamond to take on the number 14 Stanford Cardinal. That could be a tough one for them. Absolutely, and you got to think about the bullpen because the Sun Devils have started to clean that up a little bit. We're seeing some more success from Christian Bodlovich, Will Levine, and some other names that have really been the go-to guys for Coach Bloomquist. And this Cardinal team, they're going to give them fits up there for really the biggest series up to this point in the year. Carter Graham, their best contact hitter, is hitting over 350. So he'll probably give the Sun Devil fits. So that'll be something to keep an eye on this upcoming weekend. Certainly could be a tough one against the Stanford Cardinal. And pretty safe to say it's been a pretty up and down season so far for baseball. Over at Farrington Stadium, though, it's been mostly up for softball. They've only lost 5 games this season, and our Nikki Pika joins us in studio to preview their upcoming road series against Oregon.
Thanks, Ethan. Marissa Schold made her mark in Sun Devil history last weekend after throwing a perfect game against the University of Arizona Wildcats. With the weekend sweep including 2 run-ruled games, the Sun Devils head up to Eugene with hopes of staying hot against the Oregon Ducks. Arizona State's pitching must stay sharp against Oregon's lineup, who has a hearty 1-9. The depth Coach Ford has in her pitching rotation shows in the collective's 1.85 earned run average. The Sun Devils' bats have been a nice complement to the stellar pitching. As long as the Sun Devils can keep the Ducks at bay, they should be able to continue to dominate the Pac-12 competition.
Thanks for that, Nikki. The Sun Devils will be looking to remain undefeated in conference play against the Ducks on ESPN2 later today at 5 p.m. MST. For now, though, we bring in football reporter Jake Seymour to talk a little bit of spring football. Spring practices have taken place over the last couple of weeks and are coming to an end with the spring showcase this Saturday night. A little bit earlier, a couple weeks ago, Jaden Daniels enters the transfer portal, now transferred over to LSU. What have we seen from the quarterback battle, I should say, in terms of these spring practices?
Yeah, I mean, you mentioned the quarterback battle. That's really been the biggest storyline thus far in the spring ball. And right now they have two options. Paul Tyson, the Alabama transfer, and he doesn't have a lot of collegiate experience like the other one, Trenton Bourget, but what he does have is he was a high recruit out of high school, 4-star recruit according to 247, and he has the length. He's 6'7", 228. Take a couple hits, but he's also a little mobile. If he needs to get out and, if the defense gets in on him, he can get out and run for a first down if need be. The other one, Trenton Bourget, he's a local kid, local high school talent, but his football IQ is unmatched. He's very intelligent when it comes to the game of football. He played at the Tucson Turf Elite program, which is a 7-on-7 league, ran by his father, who has over 3 decades of coaching experience.
Yeah, and then you talk about another player leaving as well, this one for a different reason. Rashad White off to the NFL in terms of an NFL draft prospect, a pretty good one. Led the offense last year in this kind of run-and-pound offense that we've seen. What about the running backs now? A couple transfers coming in, new players maybe being able to step up. What do we see from that room?
Well, it's going to be not easy to fill White's shoes. He's a 1,000-yard rusher, and Nagata's going to be the guy that they kind of look at. But they also went to the transfer portal and pulled in Xavier Valade last season, the Wyoming transfer, just like White, 1,000 yards on the season. But Valade is a guy that you can really kind of rely on just to go out there and get you that first down, as is kind of like they did with White. Also, let's not forget about Chip Trainum. He was a guy that was used a little bit last season, dealt with some injuries, but he was able to come onto the field when need be and able to provide that running gun for Coach Herm Edwards.
Yeah, I mean, kind of the theme of spring practice has been changed. We just talked about 2 players leaving that have changed a position room, and now the DBs and secondary as well. A player like Chase Lucas, Jack Jones, DeAndre Pierce, all no longer with the team. What have we seen from that secondary?
Well, right now in the 2 corners is Chase Edmonds and Mason Williams, who have kind of filled in on those roles. But I think the big thing with this defense to really highlight is that there haven't been a lot of change necessarily outside of the 2 corners. Donnie Henderson, the new defensive coordinator, said that he's keeping the starters from the Vegas Bowl against Wisconsin as of right now. So it'll be interesting to see if Henderson decides later down the road that we're going to switch here and maybe put this player here and what he does in the plug-and-play scenarios.
Yeah, it certainly should be a very interesting thing to see how they plug those holes. But thanks for coming in and your time, Jake Seymour. All of this in terms of spring football coverage will be free of charge to the general public at Sun Devil Stadium. Activities are starting at 5:30, and the showcase itself is starting at 7 tomorrow on Saturday.
Thank you so much for that, gentlemen. Saturday's spring game can't come soon enough. Now moving forward to the Sun Devil gymnastics team, the ladies' season came to a close in the NCAA regional semifinals as ASU earned a 4th-place finish of a 196.6 in Norman, Oklahoma. Here to explain what is to come this offseason is our field of reporters, Eric List and Tia Reed.
Thanks, guys. The Arizona State gymnastics season came to an end last Thursday at the NCAA regionals in Norman, Oklahoma. The Sun Devils struggled and finished 4th in their group. Vault, which has typically been the Sun Devils' best event and they've ranked number 11 nationally, was their worst event and they scored a 48.8. Likewise, floor, which has typically been their worst event, was their best event, where all 5 scores were a 9.9 or above. The Sun Devils finished the year 6-4 and with 2 award winners. Junior Hannah Scharf won All-American and All-Pac-12, along with freshman counterpart Alex Theodorou. Here's Tia Reed with more.
Despite an underwhelming end to the season, the Sun Devils look fit to rebound come next year. With just 2 seniors leaving the program, ASU will return the other 15 athletes from the 2021 roster. Injuries played a big role throughout this season, with junior Juliet Boyer not able to compete at all after helping out on bars and floor in almost every meet in the 2021 season. Additionally, 2021 All-Pac-12 selection Anaya Smith only competed in 1 meet. And 2022 All-Pac-12 selection Alex Theodorou was a last-minute injury scratch from the regional semifinals loss. The Sun Devils hope to see all 3 athletes return next season, in addition to All-American Hannah Scharf, who will look to keep pace with some of the top teams in the nation and take her team to nationals in her senior season. Back to you guys at the desk.
Thanks, Eric and Tia. This season was the 5th year in a row that the Sun Devils finished inside the top 25. So there's certainly still a lot to look forward to with a talented group. While gymnastics have finished their season, the ASU women's lacrosse team is now beginning the second half of theirs. Our Scott Sanduli joins us to discuss what's to come.
Thanks, Ethan. 133 goals in 11 games, a .462 successful shot percentage, and 6.64 assists per match would suggest to the casual fan that the Arizona State women's lacrosse team would be on par with the nation's best. Instead, a rigorous schedule that has featured 7 ranked teams has the Sun Devils off to a stutter-step start with a 5-6 record. While 2 victories have come against top 25 teams in number 23 Colorado and at number 14 Rutgers, Finding the back of the net has been a struggle against these prestigious programs, as in the combined 7 ranked matches this season, ASU is averaging 10.57 goals per game. But it's not enough to compensate for the 14.14 scores allowed on average. Team discipline has been the Achilles heel for Coach Tim McCormack, with his girls being whistled for 34.18 fouls per game, the most in Division I. With 5 games to go in the regular season, ASU will need a late season turnaround to make something happen down the stretch. Back to you, Ethan.
Thanks, Scott. If the team is to turn the season around, they may need to lean heavily on graduate Taylor Pinzone, who was just named Player of the Week by Inside Lacrosse, which is only the 2nd time in program history an ASU player has won a National Weekly Award. Pinzone has been helping the team all season long as an experienced vet. ASU Halo esports players, on the other hand, can't really be considered experienced, as the game was released pretty recently. Even with that, our Kellen Croxton sat down with Butterbeams to discuss the team's success early on.
The Arizona State Kinetic finished their 14-match regular season with a 42-0 MAP record. Although adapting to a game that came out just 6 months ago takes tremendous amount of skill, the team results have been primarily due to their teamwork.
I feel like what Halo Infinite sets it apart from the other Halo games is the team play. Like, you actually have to be good and knowing what you're doing and not just selling and not just running out of spawn.
Despite the in-season success, the team didn't expect these results early on.
Some other teams are able to, they have coaches, they have people helping them, they have computers, they have room, they have everything, right? So as a student-run organization, I joined, I was just expecting to have a good time, you know? Like, it'll be cool, we'll play some games, you know? We'll, probably lose to some schools that are absolutely cracked. But it very quickly changed after that December tournament, where we just like won and we kept on going and going and going all the way, suddenly we're in finals and I'm like, damn, this might be more than I was thinking, more than I was bargaining for almost.
In the finals of that preseason tournament, the Kinetic lost to the University of North American Dragons, but when the teams rematched in February, ASU won both maps. Now, the Kinetic will prepare for the league's playoff tournament through April 16th.
It's been a complete turnaround for the ASU Kinetic team. They make playing Halo look so easy. And speaking of making things look so easy, several track and field athletes for ASU have notable top 10 places in numerous events. Here to explain a little bit about that is our Henry Dominique.
Thanks, Matt. The Sun Devils are currently in the middle of their outdoor season, and the men's team currently occupies the 11th spot on the U.S. Track and Field and Cross Country Coaches Association poll. The team is bolstered by 3 athletes with top 10 marks in the NCAA. 200 and 400-meter runner Justin Robinson, 110-meter hurdler Jamar Marshall Jr., and freshman thrower Ralford Mullings all sit in the top 10 in their events. There are other Sun Devils just outside of the top 10, including the 4x100-meter relay team. However, ASU has yet to unleash their star thrower and 4-time NCAA champ Turner Washington, who has yet to throw this season. ASU men's track looks to send a decent amount of athletes to the NCAA regional qualifier this May and hopes to compete at the NCAA championships in June. The Sun Devils are currently competing in the Sun Angel Classic, which is going on today and tomorrow. Back to you guys at the desk.
Thanks, Henry. The Classic won't be streamed anywhere, but it is free admission and at the Sun Angel Stadium, and we'll have updates at thesundevils.com.
After 25 seasons at the helm of Sun Devil women's basketball, Charlie Turner Thorne announced her retirement from coaching on March 3rd. It was immediately followed by an over 3-week search, and on March 27th, Natasha Adair was announced as the new women's basketball coach at Arizona State.
Informed President Crow that in fact this was our situation. His encouragement to me was go get a great one for this program. Go get a great one that will take us back to A status with the potential to go to A+ status. And he instructed us to go get a premier coach with Premier Plus potential.
Adair comes to Tempe after spending the past 5 seasons as the head coach of Delaware, in which she compiled a 95-58 record in her time with the Blue Hens, which was capped off this season by the program's first trip to the NCAA tournament in almost a decade. Not to mention, Adair has led the Blue Hens to the postseason on 2 additional occasions, with trips to the WNIT in both 2018 and 2021. But for her, Sun Devil's success this season can be found through a smart, defensive-minded basketball team.
We're going to give up the good for the great shot. We're going to execute. We're going to value possessions. And they're going to have fun while they do it. Our formula is defend, rebound, run, and score. In that order, and I'll say it again. Defend, rebound, run, and score. Okay?
And beyond the court, Coach Adair promises that she'll always uplift her players and encourage them to be more than just student athletes.
Well, when you empower your student athletes to use their voice, they become stronger as people. And I think that as student athletes and being a part of an athletic department, we're the doorstep to the community. And so we use our platform in a different way. We have different channels and avenues to get messaging out. And so as a women's basketball coach, it cannot just be about X's and O's. You have to empower them. And so that will just increase the product that you put on the floor.
Coach Adair now gets to head into the lab and get to work with her new team. And as Vice President for University Athletics, Ray Anderson, said, they hope they will not have to search for another women's basketball coach for another 25 seasons. Back to you guys in the studio.
Thanks, Kevin, for giving us details about the situation. But the real question is, how do you replace the best coach in ASU history and the second most winningest coach in the conference? And the answer, while most won't like it, is you really don't. Not only is the team losing their coach, but also players whose main reason to be a Sun Devil was Charlie Turner-Thorne. We've already seen the backbone of the team in Taya Hansen, as well as young talent Caitlin Levings, both enter the transfer portal, and they're likely not the last. However, this isn't unexpected in the new era of the transfer portal, and bringing in Coach Adair from Delaware is certainly a good move that could be a step in the right direction after CTT. But for now, it's still unclear what the impact of the retirement will be and where Adair will be starting from. It's important to be patient when a big change takes place, and this is no different. It will take time to shape the roster into the defensive and running style Adair wants, and she'll most likely bring in players to do so. And it's possible players would want to be involved in what she calls a player-led, coach-supported program. For now, there isn't a lot that is definite about this situation, and not much to conclude. It's time to wait and see what Adair does with the roster, and as we get closer and closer to next season, the future for the program will become clearer and clearer. And that's the way it is. Let's head over into some top plays. Starting at number 3, we head over to Tucson. Jasmine Rollins sends this softball for a ride, a bat flip with it as ASU upset the number 14 Arizona Wildcats in sweeping fashion as there was no chance for Arizona.
We're going to keep it on the diamond, different team. We're going back to Tempe. This is at Phoenix Municipal Stadium. Jacob Walker the other day, Tuesday against U of A. Talk about twin killing on the ground. McLean over to second Champagne, back to Davis, 6-4-3. The Sun Devil defense with a huge 2-play putout.
Well, we've had two upsets already. Let's make it a third. Why don't we? Another number 14 team going down to ASU. Carly Adams with an overtime goal, throws the stick, pounds the ground. ASU gets the win over number 14 Rutgers, and it's another upset. 3 upsets, a lot of fun, as was this show. This show was an absolute blast. We're glad you guys came along to watch it and listen to us as we went about it. But for everyone in the studio, everyone that has made this possible, and you guys for watching, thanks for coming along, and we'll see you guys next week.